Shalom, family. How's everyone doing? All right, good, good, good. So, welcome to another Faithful Friday Sabbath class, okay? And we're going to be continuing our breakdown of the Book of Ecclesiastes, okay? Going precept upon precept, line upon line. And last we left off in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 16. So we're going to pick it up at verse 17. Okay. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 17. It says, "Be not over much wicked, neither be thou foolish." So what does it mean by be not over much wicked? How would one be over much wicked? Why would it say something like that? It says that because we have to understand first and foremost, when we sin, we're able to repent. We're able generally to repent when we sin, generally. So, but yet and still, there's a limit. There's a respectable limit. And if you go past that limit, if you're too wicked, you can go too far away from the Most High that the journey back, it could be very long and difficult and so long. Some people, they see that road back and they decide, man, just keep going. Whatever it is I've been living, whatever it is I've been doing in my wicked, I'll just keep going. And ultimately condemning themselves, if they choose not to make that path back. And you have others, you go too far to where, okay, Most High is going to pull your coattail. And when he does, it's not going to be in the gracious and merciful way you would want or expect. It's going to be according to judgment, and he's going to judge you and can judge you so severely it can ultimately bring about your death. You'll no longer be with us, but it could have been prevented. Okay, so that's why it's saying, "Be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish." Don't willfully go in a foolish way that is not sound doctrine. That's not the way you want to do things according to scriptures. Okay, and it explains, "Why shouldest thou die before thy time?" People think that, all right, well, when it's my time to go, it's just my time to go. And that's not necessarily everything the scriptures tell us. That's not necessarily the case. You have many times where you can go or be the cause in someone else going because of how you're moving, how you're operating. That it didn't have to be that time. You still had another 15 years on the clock or 20 years on the clock or what so have you. But yet and still, because of your words and actions, you've caused death to come upon you sooner than what it was originally supposed to be. So you took yourself out or had someone else taken out sooner than what it should have been. So now, verse 18, it says, "It is good that thou shouldest take hold of this." Meaning it's good if you really grasp. When you take hold of something, you grasping something. It's good that you grasp and really understand this the way you need to, so you don't end up in these types of situations. And you understand, and learn that, hey, let me watch how I'm moving, and watch what I'm doing so I don't end up in that case. So it says, "Yea, also from this withdraw not thine hand." So with this, don't just let go of this and take it as something. That's just light. I don't really need to worry about that. Nah, because you can very well be one of the ones in that type of situation, you know. And it just starts with falling away little by little. Little by little. It's not always a big thing, but little by little, and you start going further and further and further and deviating further and further and further away from righteousness till next thing you know, you look up and your life is similar to one who is living a life of just iniquity, just sin. You become more and more back in the world. So now, uh, moving on, it says, "Yea, also from this withdraw not thine hand, for he that feareth God shall come forth of them all." Okay, because at the end of the day, and that's twofold. It's for he that feareth God, which is the righteous, shall come forth of them all. At the end of the day, you're still going to be here. You're still going to endure. Okay, so in the midst. 19, it says, "Wisdom strengtheneth the wise more than 10 mighty men which are in the city." So Why does it say that? Because at the end of the day, we have a good sense of strength if we feel like we have some solid brothers, some strong brothers, big brothers, or what so have you, and we can feel like, man, the city, hey, on with them, we could be good, we could be solid. We're gonna get through them. You see Big Jake and them Jakes, like, man, I wouldn't want to tussle with them, So, but yet and still, it says, man, wisdom is even more of a strength over all of them. You would think like, dang, how? Because at the end of the day, sometimes wisdom can allow you to move in a way to where that isn't as big of a safety net than just making better decisions in terms of diplomacy and how you're dealing with certain matters. Sometimes that's the better way. That's the better advantage. It says in verse 20, it says, "For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not." Because it's explaining something. That still ties into 19, that at the end of the day, wisdom is going to help you, because with wisdom, it's, if I can summarize it or put it, in the type of saying, that a wise man is one that sees his faults, admits them, and corrects them. A fool is one who sees them but does nothing about them. And the blind are the one that they don't see it at all. Okay? And wisdom is you see that, okay, I can see, I got some sense to see that this probably ain't right. I probably need to change and work on this, and I need to better myself, and improve in these areas. Wisdom will save your life and help you save other people's lives, and helping just off of the basis of that. Because understanding that in this walk, you're going to make mistakes. But it's important that you learn from those mistakes and that you fight to be better and do better. But you're going to make mistakes. That's why it says, "For there's not a just man upon earth." You look at anyone who you may revere as a leader or feel is honorable, they've made mistakes. And they've made a number of mistakes that they understand and know that they could have done better by. And in some cases, if I could go back and change it, would have liked to have, never made some, or chose differently, at those times, So, and there's not a just man, woman, or child upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. You're gonna have, times where you err in a matter in some type of way, especially because, and even more so in this day and age, because we're all learning. Many of us aren't being raised and brought up, in these laws from our childhood up to our adulthood, that we can, really say. And even for those few that have, had that, it wasn't as sound, because your parents, there's a lot that they didn't know about righteousness that they were learning, that you didn't get it. You weren't getting it in what they learned and what they know now versus what they knew, 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, So they've changed doctrines, understandings, and things as they've grown, and realized, and as their leaders and leadership done the same thing, grown and realized that, hey, this doctrine wasn't sound. We thought it was good, but we did more research, find out this isn't correct. So we were wrong on that. Oh, we thought we did this right, we didn't. We have to amend that too. Or we were doing this and we have to stop doing that, or we weren't doing these things that we need to start doing. So you have that as well. And wisdom is what's going to help strengthen you to make sure that all those things are being done appropriately and being executed, the way that they should be. So, which can do you a lot better than just having, some mighty warriors, which can mean nothing if they're not righteous at the end of the day. So let's continue. Verse 21. "Also, take no heed unto all words that are spoken." So it's let you know, man, don't be paying attention to every conversation and everything that somebody be talking about. So why? It says, "Lest thou hear thy servant curse thee." Lest you hear, serving people that's supposed to be serving you, helping you, ministering unto you, that employees, lest what? "Lest thou hear thy servant curse thee," lest you start hearing them talking bad about you.
saying negative things about you. That might happen. And then for some who, you start getting offended. Well, ain't we supposed to be in the tree? Ain't we supposed to all be dealing right? That's why we have the law to help make sure we align ourselves unto it. But there's a balance. Like it reads on, verse 22. It says, for oftentimes, notice it said that, for oftentimes, also thine own heart, meaning your own mind, knoweth. You ain't guessing. You know within you what? It says, that thou thyself likewise has cursed others. Some of y'all know, and it's different for everybody. There's levels to it. Some of y'all know y'all didn't talking up and down a storm about certain people. Y'all didn't been y'all just as much as you looking at, they talking about me as this. Are you guilty of the same? Have you not done the same? But now when the shoe's on the other foot, now it's a problem. Because it's you, but you didn't have a problem. Some of y'all recent, the other week when you was talking about so-and-so, so casually. But now it's she on the other foot, and now it seemed like such a harm, such an insult to injury. Well, guess what? Like we read in the last, segment of this class that, do that to no man which thou hatest. So you got to treat others the way you want to be treated and be mindful of those things. So that's a big thing. So, like I said, also take no heed unto all words that are spoken, lest thou hear thy servant curse thee. For oftentimes also thine own heart knoweth that thou thyself likewise hast cursed others. So just be mindful, because you don't want to be a hypocrite, just even within your own mind and conscience. 23. All this have I proved by wisdom. So all this I'm testing, and I'm trying and I'm examining through wisdom. I'm seeing these things to be true. I said I will be wise, but it was far from me. So he said, even from a young age, from the age of a child, hey, I'll be wise. But yet and still, me having to obtain all that wisdom, it was, man, a great distance from me. A lot of growing, a lot of studying, a lot of trial and error in order to get it. 24. That which is far off and exceeding deep, who can find it out? Because, man, for wisdom, it can be far off and very vast. When you have something deep, it's like, man, it's hard to gather it all. Where do you start? So, and who can gather all wisdom upon earth and from the ancients? 25, he said, I applied mine heart to know. That's one of the things, too. If you want to really be wise, anyone, man, woman, or child, you can choose to be wise. Wise in general, wise for your age, wise for your generation. So, but yet and still, this is the key. Are you going to apply your heart to know? Are you going to apply your mind to know? How serious and sincere are you in terms of, what, I have to know these things. I have to research these things. I have to, study these things. It says, and to search. Because to know, hey, you got to search. You got to find. You got to look. Sometimes it ain't a quick Google search ain't always going to be it. Sometimes you got to look on page 7. Sometimes you got to, open up some books. So sometimes you got to do this. Sometimes you got to go to the library. Go to a different library. It's different things. And to search. And to seek out wisdom. So you got to be willing to seek it out. It ain't always just going to be there easily available for you. And depending on the situation, some things ain't always that hard to find either. And the reason of things, understand, that's science right there. How does this work? How does science, that understanding of things, that reasoning of things, how does this do this? Why does it do this? So, and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly. That's the other thing too. Part of being wise, you have to also understand, wickedness and foolishness. And what could cause someone to go off in that direction? What can cause someone to do that? That's also part of wisdom too, and being wise and proving things. Even of foolishness and madness. So seeing the things that you have to understand, that the dumb things that people do, the crazy things that people do, and what causes people to do some of that dumb stuff. What causes people to do some of that crazy stuff? This is psychology, the study of the mind, and what causes one to veer off into those different paths and those different directions. Now, verse 26, and it still goes on. This is still continuing with this, because we have that call in there. 26. And I find more bitter than death the woman. So he's saying, like, man, even while I'm looking at even worse than dying, because sometimes we think dying is just, the worst thing, and that ain't necessarily the worst thing. Sometimes dying, that death can be quick. You're out of here in a couple of seconds, sometimes before you know it. It ain't always a long, drawn-out death where someone is just in agony and suffering for minutes or hours. Sometimes it's like, dang, die quick. But whereas certain things in life, it's a slow death. Even like in this, sometimes in that slow death can be in a marriage, a marital situation. Sometimes that could be a slow death. And this is more so dealing with the wicked woman, that is dealing with. So I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, meaning their heart, their mind, everything that it's just a trap. It's just a trap. So you get caught up. So caught up in her mind, because she caught up in her mind and everything she want and desire, and that she's gonna act on and speak on. So to get you caught up. It says, in her hands as bands, things that, man, again, it's going to restrict you, okay? You mess around with her, you're going to be restricted, okay? You're not going to be able to operate the way that you need to operate, messing around with the wrong woman. And reading on, it says, whoso pleaseth God, so I'm pleasing God, that's generally someone that's righteous. If you pleasing God, you're doing the thing that he wants you to do. Whoso pleaseth God shall escape from her. That, man, the Most High can help you dodge some bullets. Dodge some bullets messing around with the wrong person. Because it says, but the sinner shall be taken by her. Sometimes, them things don't work out. Be happy you didn't end up, with certain people. Certain people were no good for you. Sometimes Most High be looking out for you before you know it. So, and save you from some bad situation that you could end up with someone that would have been very detrimental to your health on many levels. First and foremost, your spiritual health, your righteous health. Most High delivered you from, But he said, man, the sinner, the wicked, they gonna be caught up in them situations, and falling into more pits, and more dangerous situations. Situation that can cause you to lose your literal life or lose your livelihood so much faster. So, but this wouldn't be the case with a Proverbs 31 woman, a virtuous woman. It wouldn't be the same situation. So it says 27, behold, this have I found. It says, man, this I've discovered. And I've come to this realization. Saith the preacher. So, and this is again Solomon, saying this from wisdom. He said, counting one by one, me going like, man, and I'm searching one by one. I'm looking individually, okay? How people, they just make big, open, broad statements. Well, all brothers, all sisters, all men, all women. It's like, nah, I'm really seeing, I'm really getting out there and seeing. I'm not just making blanket statements. And it says, behold, this I found, said the preacher, counting one by one, to find out the account, to find out, what the matter is, to see what the situation is. 28, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. He said, yet I'm trying to, know, but it's vexing me to understand this. It's still out of my reach, because now it's saying, one man among 1,000 have I found. It says, one man I found, if I'm looking at, I got 1,000 people here. I got 1,000 men. I can find, for a fact, I can find at least one solid brother, one solid man. That, man, this brother is solid, righteous, intact, man, 10 toes down for the Most High. I can find that. It says, now, One man among 1,000 have I found. So think about all the people on the earth. You said start separating. They say it's billions upon earth. Hey, it said I can find that one out of 1,000, and keep finding it that way and keep finding it that way. It says, but a woman among all those have I not found. You take them same 1,000. If I flip it, all right, give me 1,000 women. And let me be able to find a virtuous woman, a solid woman, 100% on those things. I'm not going to find the same, situation. It doesn't mean you'll never come across a virtuous woman. It just means like, like a solid one, like they deal with, like someone who's gonna be like virtuous, 10 toes deep, they with the Most High. They trying to be righteous. They have righteousness at the forefront. That's what they focus on. They're not focused on, the cares of this world, but they focus on, man, the cares of righteousness in the spirit. They model Proverbs 31, not just read a few and cherry pick. Nah, like this is what they're about. It said that you get 1,000 women, you probably ain't gonna find that, and for those, who they believe they have that caliber type of woman, that Proverbs 31, all praises. All praises, because it's something that, and this lets you know either way it goes, whether you're dealing with men or women, it's slim pickings when you're trying to find someone who's solid, in this walk. Because guess what? That is going to play a big part in determining ultimately where you end up is who you also join yourself unto. So that's going to play a big part, because this is what's going to be one of the biggest influences in your life, and it can either be a stepping stone or a stumbling block for you. So, and which one is going to be is, again, always going to be based upon who you choose and how you go about the matter. But take all things in fasting and prayer, so that way you'll be able to see clearly and have things revealed. Sometimes that fasting and prayer ain't just a day. You got to go 3 days to really see, and really make your prayer and supplication unto the Most High. So it says 29, he says, lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. And that's true. You're only going to find Most High, he made man upright. But it's always man that seeks out wickedness, seeks out to do wrong things. And that's why you got a lot of people that have, that there's a reason why there's so many laws that are universal, that's understood to be good. People, you generally go anywhere, they're going to understand murder is wrong, rape is wrong, and so on and so forth, So, but yet and still, people still murder, people still rapists. But yet, even then, many of them, they'll hide it, keep it a secret, because they know it's a wrong thing, it's a bad thing. So a lot of them, their own conscience, working against them. Let's continue. Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 1. And it says, who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? So it says, man, how many people are really wise? And how many people really understand, how to really explain this matter, correctly? It said, a man's wisdom maketh his face to shine. Someone has some wisdom, man, their countenance changes, their demeanor changes. That's what it's saying. Make his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. You move differently because of the knowledge and understanding that you have, and you choose to apply. Verse 2, it says, I counsel thee to keep the king's commandment, and that in regard of the oath of God. So he's, look, I'm giving you advice. Counsel is just advice or opinion, on things, and generally, look, I'm giving you advice, give you my opinion that, look, I'm telling you, man, keep the king's commandment, and not as much with the king, but rather, understanding, our king, is first and foremost Hamashiach Yahushua, whom the world knows as Jesus the Christ, and king above him is the Most High God. So, but understanding, you want to make sure you're doing everything you can to keep that oath, and that oath being that vow which our people made to the Most High God in the Book of Exodus. All these words that we will do, you know. So that's that big oath that our people, they said they would keep the law, statutes, and commandments, which is something the Most High applied to us and to our children. That, okay, I'm making this pact with y'all that you guys said you're going to do this. So we have to do it. So same chapter, verse 3. It says, be not hasty to go out of his sight. Be not hasty to go out of his sight. How? You go out of his sight when you depart from righteousness. Don't be quick to depart from righteousness. Okay? So, and it says, stand not in an evil thing. Don't sit there, don't sit on something that's wicked. You should be actively working to repent. Don't just stand there in something evil. Nah, you should be actively moving to get out of the way of that evil and get back in the path of righteousness and working to repent sincerely. So it says, stand not in evil thing, for he doeth whatsoever pleases him. Because at the end of the day, the Most High is going to make the decision in terms of whatever he wants to do by the matter. It's his choice. It says, verse 4, where the word of a king is, there is power. And who may say unto him, what doest thou? So it's the same thing, because when you're dealing like with an actual king and a ruler, that at the end of the day, he has power and authority. And there aren't too many people he going to listen to, when it comes down to, hey, what you doing by this? It's going to be his choice, So it's the same with the Most High God. It's his choice ultimately in terms of what he does with anything and everything in the universe. Ain't nobody gonna be like, hey, hold on, God, what you doing? God ain't got no mama or daddy. God ain't got no spouse like that to be able to say, hey, what you doing like that? Ain't nobody gonna come and all right, Yahweh, that's enough. That's enough either. You judged enough now. Time to put all that away. Oh, okay, dang it, I'm gonna get you guys tomorrow, but I gotta go to bed now. Ain't none of that. Ain't nobody, who gonna hold the Most High God accountable on anything he does or doesn't do? You how you gonna hold him accountable? Well, God, don't make me come up there. What you gonna do? So you have no power over him. So he's the ultimate authority. So ain't no other God or power or deity to rival him. They always try to show that, and whenever they have gods and overthrow the gods and weaken the gods, and then we can defeat them and stuff like that in other Greek and Roman mythologies, and that ain't the case of the Most High God. Ain't no other God in some other universe that's gonna come battle him and take the throne. That ain't how it works. So he control all the universes. So everything is under his domain. It says, verse 6, it says, because to every purpose there is time and judgment. Therefore the misery of man is great upon him. There's a time for everything, both the good and the evil. There's decisions being made, both good and evil. Because judgment is a decision. It can be good or bad. It's just something is being decided on, hey, this is what is going to now happen. So, and the Most High God is in control of everything. So, verse 7, for he knoweth, that's man, for he knoweth not that which shall be. For who can tell him when it shall be? You don't know exactly what is going to happen or when it is going to happen. Okay? That's it. You don't have that knowledge. The Most High God has that knowledge. He knows exactly what will happen and when it will happen. We're limited. We don't have that. So now continuing on, and verse 8, there is no man that has power over the spirit to retain the spirit, neither hath he power in the day of death. And there is no discharge in that war, neither shall wickedness deliver those that are given to it. So in short, we've all been in a place, we all signed up to have to live this life, to battle, and we ain't just getting off the hook. So you got to endure. So and with this walk and just in life period, there's no one who has power over the spirit, over their spirit to be able to say, nope, not yet. Oh, I need to boost myself up another 20 years. Not today. I'm healing this. You know, you don't have that power. That power is of the Most High God. So the Most High God has to decide. That I'm going to decide if I'll give you another 10 years. If I'll give you another moment to breathe, that's gonna be up to me to decide, not for you. You don't get to decide that, So ultimately, that's up to me, because the Most High, it's been time too. Sometimes you think, you're gonna be able to take your life, be successful. Most High said, nope, that ain't happening. So I'm shutting that down. You have people that do that. Even if they take a gun to their head, it don't mean you're gonna be successful. You hoping you're gonna be successful. Other times, it's all you did was make your life that much more worse. So it multiplied your hell. So it's been brothers and sisters that have experienced that, and there's those stories out there, that people have done that, and it didn't kill them. So they thought it would have or wanted it to, and it didn't. Sometimes the Most High be like, you ain't escaping. And so I'm choosing it. I still got more time with you. So now, continuing on, verse 9, it says, all this have I seen and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time, this is important too, this is a big one. There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another to his own hurt. You have that too. You have occasions to where, and ruling is someone has authority over, or they're leading. There's some that they lead or have authority, but it's to their own hurt, that at the end of the day, them being in that position of authority, they're not going to move the way that they need to move ultimately to be successful. So eventually it's going to cause problems to come about, but excessive problems. You're always going to have problems with things in terms of being a leader, there's always problems. That's part of why you have a leader to guide those things appropriately. But in terms of their overall tenure and leadership, it's going to be riddled with more problems because they're not moving the way that they should be moving per that position. And so ultimately, it's the position itself, or having that authority, being in that position, that's ultimately going to destroy them. And you see that with certain, even in the work field, with certain supervisors, managers, and eventually you see, you got the job or position, but you couldn't keep it because of how you were moving. You weren't competent enough. You weren't, virtuous enough, honest or had enough integrity, or so on and so forth. So, ultimately, it backfired. You became a laughing stock, or an embarrassment, or things of that nature. Got into various troubles and situations to ultimately had to be removed. So on and so forth. Or you just have a bad reputation. Don't nobody like you, or don't nobody want to follow you. So you have that. So 10. And so I saw the wicked buried, who had come and gone from the place of the holy, and they were forgotten in the city where they had so done. This is also vanity, because man, you have it to where even those who choose to live a wicked life, even the thing that they've done, all that wickedness ain't necessarily going to be in a place where they're going to be honored because of it. A lot of those things, that lifestyle you was living, it's not going to put you in a place to really be honored and remembered. So you ain't really going to be remembered even for some of the stuff you was doing in a way that you would think me getting some of the accolades from the world, or some of the attention from the world, isn't necessarily everything is cut out to be, So verse 11, now it's another thing, because we're dealing like a sentence of judgment. So like a trial of law. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore, the heart of these sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. A lot of people are like that because the Most High isn't causing lightning to strike you just because you did something the scriptures say not to do. You deceive yourself into believing there is no God. God doesn't exist. Or if he does, he's so disconnected from creation, he doesn't care what you do or what kind of life you live. Not understanding how God has set things up. He set things up for you to be given time and space to make decisions according to what this book says to and not to do. And then, yeah, he'll have some judgment here and there, but everything is set up more so for the final judgment in terms of the accumulation of everything that you've done, good or bad. And looking at all of those things, both the good and the bad, and also making a decision on what will happen to you going forward as it concerns your spirit, your soul. Will that receive a better situation or a worse situation? So moving forward. And will that be, what will be your final resting place? So now, and it says, and this is important too, 12, though a sinner do evil 100 times. Sometimes we get caught up in focusing too much on those who are not applying righteousness and how they're living and how they're doing things. Like, man, they keep doing this, but they got this and they got that. You be seeing how they be living. They be wicked as, I don't know what. Wicked and all get out. That at the end of the day, yet they seem to prosper. Whatever it is you think, you looking at what they got, cars, jewelry, women, clothes, vacation, whatever else it is, seem like they prospering, but yet in wickedness. Well, the scriptures speak on this. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged. Cause you think of some of them, and you looking at some of the wicked people and governors and presidents and whoever it is, and some of them you seeing some of them seem to live long, healthy lives. It says, look, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know for a fact that it shall be well with them that fear God, which fear before him. At the end of the day, the end result is, no matter what they doing over there or how good things is going, I don't care if they get $1 million every week. At the end of the day, I know it's going to be good with the righteous. That's what I know. 13, but it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before God. So it gives the balance. It said at the end of the day, it ain't going to go well with the wicked, And it said, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow. In what regard? Because we just read before, well, even if his days be prolonged, so I mean now, neither shall his days be prolonged, because you got to remember that at the end of the day, this life is temporary. There's still a life to come after this, but what would that look like? If it's wicked, it ain't gonna be prolonged. It's gonna, and not in life, it's gonna be in death. But for the righteous, even if this current life is cut short, if you righteous, that next life gonna be long. So, and that's because with the wicked, he fears not before God. You're not moving right, you're not gonna make it to that kingdom. You're not gonna get everlasting life. 14, there is a vanity which is done upon the earth, that there be just men unto whom it happeneth according to the work of the wicked. Again, there be wicked men to whom it happeneth according to the work of the righteous. I said that this also is vanity. So now you have that. You have situations where there's people who you see how things happen in their life, and ultimately it's like situation like, dang, they wicked, but it's like they getting blessed like they righteous. And then you see the flip. It's like, man, this brother, this sister, these brothers, it's like, man, they righteous, but it's like they keep getting hit and things keep happening like they wicked. It said that's happened. That's part of the journey. That's part of the walk. But most I said for the righteous, hey, he trying you as gold in the fire is tried. They got to be put under different various temperatures to purge them impurities. You know, you being tried. It's for them, for the wicked, this is their heaven. This is supposed to be their good time. But for the righteous, this ain't your heaven. This is your hell. So, or you could say heck. This is your heck, a lesser version of hell, lighter version. So it ain't as bad, you know. It ain't quite hell. It's heck, you know. Tired of living in heck. Yeah, it's supposed to be that. So it ain't because if you were being blessed like that, you think you was in heaven. You'd be all good, and it opens up more doors for you to fall into various sins that now, with money, that there's a level of power that you get that comes with money because you're able to pay for all of these things. There's a level of favor you get, a level of popularity you get, all these different things that can come with it. And these things can open up doors for vices and various sins and shortcomings where ultimately it can cause you the kingdom because you fallen away. So you have to be mindful and sometimes most I'll be doing you a favor and keep you in the space that you're in because at least you come to me. You come to me. You focus on me more than if you had all those things. Because then if you had it, you start forgetting about me. Feel like you got it. No, I'm good. I got this. I could do this. I don't need to go to God. I don't need to ask him. So now, continuing on, verse 15. It said, Then I committed mirth because a man hath no better thing under the sun than to eat and to drink and to be merry. For that shall abide with him of his labor the days of his life, which God giveth him under the sun. So all those things, man, those are the things you got to keep with you, you know, that will endure with you, that you'll be able to continue to have, you know, that goodness, that mirth, because like I said, man, nothing better. That it's meant to be there to have times of enjoyment, you know, to have those times. Let it be those times, those moments. Don't try to live there and fashion your life the way it's supposed to be like that all day, every day. You know, nah, that that ain't now. This ain't heaven. You know, enjoy and look forward to those moments. Enjoy those moments. Just like the harder you work, the more comfort it is. Look forward to being able to have a Sabbath, a day of rest. The more beautiful it feels. So, verse 16. It says, When I applied mine heart to know wisdom and to see the business that is done upon the earth, for also there is that neither day nor night seeth sleep with his eyes, then I beheld all the work of God, that a man cannot find out the work that is done under the sun. Because though a man labor to seek it out, yet he shall not find it. Yea, further, though a wise man think to know it, yet shall he not be able to find it. Why? What is he saying? He's saying, look, at the end of the day, there's so much knowledge out there, so many things to try to understand. You're not going to be able to learn it all. You're not. It's just too vast. There's just too much out there. You're not. No matter how much you study, you won't know everything there is to know on the history as large. So you focus on particular areas that, okay, let me learn more about this. Let me try to get a general understanding of this. So, because that's why they have so many people that they focus on certain areas. That, all right, well, I'm a historian of Greek history, you know. So, oh yeah, I'm a scholar, but I focus on this, you know, in these areas. It's so many time periods that you can spend a lifetime just studying on everything that transpired in the 80s, politically and religions, and you know, the mindsets and thoughts and how thoughts were shifting, and you know, you can spend a lot of time just mastering speaking on that just within a 10-year period. You know, set aside just me learning and focusing on just Greek history or Roman history and knowing everything there is about that. So there's a lot that comes with that, and immersing yourself into various knowledges like that. So Now let's get into Ecclesiastes chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, "For all this I considered in my heart, even to declare all this, that the righteous and the wise and their works are in the hand of God. No man knoweth either love or hatred by all that is before them." So at the end of the day, everything we're doing, it's all in the hands of the Most High. Okay, with when you're righteous and you're moving in wisdom, it's all in the hands of the Most High. So, end of the day, and no matter how we feel, at the end of the day, what we may think to seem a certain way, it's like, man, the Most High, He truly knows, what good and evil is, and understands that in a way that we don't, because He formed it. We just feel, I just feel this is right. I feel this is good. I don't feel that's right. The Most High says, nah, this is a fact. How is that a fact? Because I made it fact. I made the facts. I'm the one that set the parameters in terms of what is and what is not. I'm the one that made this a fact, that yes, that is light and that is darkness. So the same for everything else. 2, all things come alike to all. There is one event to the righteous and to the wicked. That one event is death. So physical death. So in this flesh. To the good and to the clean, and to the unclean, and to him that sacrificeth, and to him that sacrificeth not. As is the good, so is the sinner. And he that sweareth, as he that feareth an oath. So that's why I said all things come alike to all. No matter what walk of life, what background, at the end of the day, if you was in this flesh, surely as you live, one day, in this flesh, you will die. So, but what that next chapter looks like is based upon how you walked and lived in this flesh. Verse 3, this is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto all. Yea, also, the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live, and after that they go to the dead. So it's letting you know, the sons of men, which is oftentimes used as a reference to the wicked, because they're living after the carnal nature, whereas we should be sons and daughters of the Most High God. We should be sons of God. Okay, but yet and still we choose to be sons of men. We should be living godly instead of living ungodly. So not allowing the carnal nature to take over us, but keeping in line with the spiritual nature, and that of the righteous spiritual nature. So that's what is oftentimes saying when it says the sons of men in that regard. So that's why I said it's full of evil. Their heart, meaning their mind, full of evil, full of wickedness. And it says, and madness is in their heart while they live. So everything in their heart is just filled with foolishness and crazy thoughts, crazy ideologies. When you line it up with righteousness, it's like, that's that ain't nowhere near it. That's far. So verse 4, for to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. So that's the key thing. No matter what you may have done, in the world, or even in this walk in the faith, in the truth, as many call it, that end of the day, if you're still alive, there's some hope there. Okay? So there's some hope there. It says, for him that is joined to all living, there is hope. Because guess what? Every day gives you another opportunity to repent. Because who knows and who can say whether or not the Most High be gracious upon you, your life, and ultimately your spirit, to decide what will ultimately happen to you. A lot of it is that we say all the time, like, hey, this is a race, This is a race. Even the scriptures have some of that too, in terms of this is a race. But this is a race, but the type of race this is a marathon. It's a long distance race. And a lot of time with the marathon, the longer it is, the more it becomes a badge of excellence just to finish. You finish this. Not just a situation that I was first or second or third across the finish line, but just I made it past that line because a lot of people didn't. A lot of people wasn't able to make it. And the Most High, a big part of this walk is just like he says, enduring to the end. Keep going. Make it to the end. Keep going. Because if you give up and you walk off the course now, you never finish. You could have finished. The goal is to finish. Not to focus on, I got to come in first. Yeah, you might be in dead last, but you made it. Think about all the people that didn't make it, that gave up, that quit, or just walked off. So you'll never receive the accolade. You just walk off. If you just exit, so you got to be able to finish, and then people will still cheer you on, and yeah, you made it. So a lot of things it's with them all. Just finish. Fight. Don't judge yourself. Don't count yourself unworthy. Let the Most High judge you. Because a lot of times he just wants to make sure you get that E for effort. Did you try to serve and fight for righteousness even after you made these mistakes, even after you did these things? Look at the testimony of David. And all of us have gotten way more grace and mercy than David. Way more grace and mercy. Because many of us in this current life, we've done more sinning than David. Who was the king of Israel. So, got to remember, Most High, he likes to be gracious and merciful, especially to those that are trying. But just make sure, don't fool yourself, don't deceive yourself and say, I'm working on it, and okay, well, when? What's the progress looking like? What's the progress report? It should be, I should be getting better and doing better over time, not getting worse and waxing worse over time. There should be improvement. I should be evolving, not devolving. So now, like it says, to him, verse 4, for to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. Okay? Because many people may not get that at first. You're like, dang, a lion is stronger and bigger than a dog. If I could choose a lion between a dog, I'd choose a lion. But yeah, that lion dead now. Lion dead. Whatever strength and power it had is of no use now. But guess what? That dog is alive. That dog can still help and defend you. So guess what? At the end of the day, you may not be that lion, but hey, be that dog. You can still be loyal. Still be, as they say, man's best friend. Still be a good best friend. You can still, sniff out danger. You can still, sniff out and find things that are lost. You can still keep a lookout and keep a watch for danger and sound the alarm if you see something and I see something. And other times be able to, I need to act on something. I can act and bite when I need to bite, if that's what I need to do. So you need to, again, it's a mindset thing, understanding at the heart which one is truly better. So, verse 5, for the living know that they shall die. So usually those that lie, they know that one day they will die. So, and it causes them to move in a certain fashion, or should cause them to move in a certain fashion that should be for the better. It says, but the dead know not anything, neither have they any more reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. So it's when you're dead, that's it. You've run your race. You've run your course. At the end of the day, you've run your race. You've run your course. So that's one of those things. So now, as it said, the dead know not anything, neither have they any more reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. Memory of them will soon be forgotten. They might be remembered for some years, maybe a generation, but eventually they're not going to stay, in remembrance. So now, reading on, verse 6. It says, also their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished. Whatever was going on in their life, whatever it is, it's over now. It's over. That's it. So, and it says, neither have they any more a portion forever in anything that is done under the sun. It don't matter whatever uh, bank statements or whatever bills they had or debts, whatever. It don't matter now. They're not here. So whatever riches and fortunes, whatever they built, they're gone now. They're not there to direct traffic anymore. You know. So verse 7, it says, go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart. For God now accepteth thy works. Because hey, it's like now, hey, if you moving right, you doing good, Most High gonna accept your works. You know. So enjoy those little pleasures. Okay, enjoy those things. Now, verse 8, it says, let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. And then what? At the end of the day, make sure, take care of yourself. Keep yourself up, And then make sure, man, you always stay righteous. Keep your garments white. Stay clean. Try to move no matter what you do, where you at. It don't matter if you with your family. It don't matter if you with your kids, with your spouse, with your cousin, it don't matter who you with. It don't matter if you at work. You should always be moving according to righteousness and trying to fight to move in excellence in everything it is that you do. You want to move in excellence because you're a representation of more than just yourself, but your upbringing, your background, your family. You don't want people to be, ooh, that's your spouse, and ooh, I'll be seeing the way he or she be moving, and it's like, nah. You want people to be like, man, that's your husband, man, that's your wife, like, man, like, I see the way they care, like, man, excellence. You don't want people to be like, man, them your kids over there, like, man, they, So you want people like, man, them your kids, like, man, they seem so well mannered, so well behaved, and you want excellence. So, cause you represent more than just you. You want everything to be done in excellence. No matter if you with that camp, man, that camp is good. They solid. You want people to say that, or oh, that's your leader. Hey, your leader's solid. If you that person, or if you that person, it's like, man, yeah, people could say, yeah, this probably, yeah, you a good leader. So same with your family. When people be like, man, you got a good family. You want it all to be good things that are said. So as far as verse 9. And I ended with this in verse 9. It says, live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity, which he have given thee under the sun, all the days of thy vanity. For that is thy portion in this life, and in thy labor which thou takest under the sun. That's a big part. Live joyfully with your spouse. It shouldn't be all about sorrow and arguing. That's not what it's about. It's marriage is supposed to be a beautiful thing. It's man that makes it into an ugly thing. Man and woman, they make it bad through how they act, how they talk, how they treat one another. They make those things poisonous and grievous. You take something good and poison it. So to the point to where you have people that offended at marriage. That idea, nah, I can't do that. That ain't me. You got brothers, nah, I can't deal with no nagging woman holding me down and telling me what I gotta do and then where I gotta be at and asking about my affairs and all in my business. Women the same way. Nah, I can't be with no man and trying to be on me and tell me what I gotta do, how I live my life and trying to pull me in every direction and probably ain't even got his own stuff together. Nah, it ain't supposed to be that. You make it negative. So Most High ordained marriage to be a beautiful thing. So, but if it's something that is just, if you're not adequate for it, because not everyone's adequate for marriage. Some people, they don't know how to operate in them situations. It may not be good for you, but at the core, it is good in general. And so, but I'll leave you with that, for this segment. Pray that hopefully all you guys got something out of it, right? And that you learn from these things and allow it to help envelop you and develop you into a better version of yourself, a righteous version of yourself. So with that, I say shalom.